করমরে তুমি বিনা।
Our Sankirtan party from Europe and England arrived in India on October 4th, 1970. And I was only in Bombay for under 2 weeks, but those 2 weeks were two of the most powerful 2 weeks in my life. Because at this time, Srila Prabhupada allowed us to taste Kirtan in Lord Krishna's Bharatvarsha. The center of our activity every single day was Nagar Sankirtan. That was our main engagement. We had prasadam in the morning, a morning program, chanted our rounds, and then went out on kirtan, sometimes twice a day. This kirtan party was so wonderful. We were like a family, a tight family. And each person played a role. Those are Malati's banners, so the same ones we brought from England. The heartbeat of our kirtan were the mrindangas of Dinanath and Rishi Kumar. They kept the rhythm going, and all of the rest of us played either another drum or kartals. And we were shoulder to shoulder, just like God brothers and God sisters, with so much affection and respect we had for each other. And we felt as if Srila Prabhupada were our father and we were all his spiritual children. And there was such a nice mood in this early Sankirtan leg of Srila Prabhupada's mission in India.
We were enthralled by the streets of Bombay. Everything was so new and exotic. And I think the people were enthralled by us too, from the way they looked at us. But we were thrilled to see how Krishna conscious the people were. We'd see people wearing dhotis and kurtas, and of course most of the women wore saris. We'd see cows. We'd see names of buildings and businesses that included the holy names of Krishna and Rama. And we were just enthralled. And at the same time filled with the sense that we were pioneers in Srila Prabhupada's mission, working to please him and serve him according to his superior guidance and vision. And we had faith that the whole process would culminate in some wonderful result.
There were many engagements, and Prabhupada would just have us set up anything for him to speak. Didn't matter if it was small or large or in a seedy part of town. And when he spoke about Krishna and sang the holy names, he was happy and he would get energy. And sometimes we would even say, well, Prabhupada, we went to this place before and 2 people showed up and we don't know if it's worth your time to go there. And Prabhupada would say, no, I'm like a cow. I give milk anywhere. That is what I like to do. And we would go, just go with him. This place, that place, this town, that town. We just like to be with him.
After Kirtan took place, Srila Prabhupada wanted his books displayed. And he would inevitably speak something of his books or have a disciple speak something about his books and surround himself with his books. And I can think of no place where this activity didn't take place, where he didn't want his books displayed and sold and made available. He would very oftentimes give a gift copy to whoever was hosting.
Srila Prabhupada taught us how to drink water without touching the glass, and how to peel a banana without touching it with our left hand, with our teeth. And he said, everyone will be watching you very carefully, so, you should do these things nicely. He was tireless when we were in India. He went from engagement to engagement to engagement. And then in the evening, he would speak public lectures, and then every morning, we would get up early and have arti and morning lecture on the Bhagavatam in his room.
The Somanis were a very religious and wealthy family of Bombay. The senior Somani at the time was G.D. Somani, and he became a life member, and gradually the other brothers and then sons and nephews also became life members. But they were very devout Hindus, and they were very active in promoting Hinduism in India. And when they met Srila Prabhupada and practically all the pious and aristocratic Hindus of Bombay and India in general, when they came to know about Srila Prabhupada and the work he had done to spread Sanatana Dharma in the West and throughout the world, they were astonished. They felt here is the first time that someone from India has gone abroad and really made an impact on people's lives, really brought people to Sanatana Dharma, to Krishna consciousness. And they wanted to come forward and help. They wanted to be part of the great movement that Srila Prabhupada had started. And at the same time, Srila Prabhupada had the idea that the people of India want to imitate the West. They want to imitate the Americans. So Srila Prabhupada had the idea that if the Americans take to Krishna consciousness and then the Indians see it, they'll also want to imitate the Americans taking to Krishna consciousness. And actually, Srila Prabhupada's thought worked. People looked again at their own tradition, at their own culture, at their own practices, and saw there must be more there than they even thought themselves. Otherwise, why would Americans and Europeans who had every chance to enjoy material facilities and sense gratification, why would they be chanting Hare Krishna and dancing, studying Bhagavad Gita and preaching? And then why would they come to India? So they were thrilled. And sometimes they were so moved when they saw us, tears would come to their eyes. They were just so touched. At the end of Srila Prabhupada's visit, Kailash Saksari arranged a huge program on the terrace of his house and invited all the elite of Bombay, and they came. But the thing that struck all of us was Srila Prabhupada's humility. Here he was addressing some of the most affluent and aristocratic and influential people of India. And he spoke very briefly. He referred to his disciples and his work in the West. And then he appealed to the ladies and gentlemen present. He spoke the verse from Prabodhananda Saraswati, Dante Nidaya Trinakam Padayor Nipatya. You're very learned and intelligent and pious people. I stand with a straw in my teeth and I beg you, please chant Hare Krishna. And then he went into the last kirtan.
One time they were having a yogi sangha or sammelan where many yogis come from all over India to speak. A venue on Chowpatty Beach in Bombay. Many different swamis and yogis were sitting up on this stage, and each day several of them or one of them would speak, and they invited Prabhupada and us to come down there. And at first they didn't like the idea that Prabhupada would have us up there on the stage with him, but he told them that these Western Vaishnavas are every bit as spiritually advanced as the other yogis and swamis here. I want them up with me. And they agreed. Prabhupada was introducing us to India as the real authentic thing, that we're swamis and yogis in our own right. He was very proud of us, and at the same time he was showing us his country, he was also showing his countrymen what he had done in the West. And the huge crowds came down, all very intelligent, high-class families came down to hear the yogis speak, and here was Prabhupada stealing the show. No one could put on a show like we could. Nobody even came near.
This was in Bombay. The program was a Sankirtan procession where they took deities on a kirtan procession. They had bands. The bands were playing the Mexican hat dance. Da-dum, 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 da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum, 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 da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know the Mexican hat dance? That's what the band was playing for the deity. For Radha Krishna deities, we were chanting along with the Mexican hat dance. I remember that. And we got out on this pier, and there were several speakers to speak, and one of the other speakers was one of the most famous Mayavadi sannyasis in Bombay. And Prabhupada knew his name. He was in the Shivananda line, which is the big Mayavadi Shivite line in India. Almost every one of the big gurus that came to the West was a disciple of Swami Shivananda in Bombay. And this guy was his successor. And then Prabhupada spoke, and he said, so you've been listening to such and such, or such and such is here, and he is very famous, and he mentioned him by name. And he is impersonalist. He does not believe that Radha Krishna are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But I will tell you something that I know. In secret, he is worshiping Radha Krishna deities. And the man smiled real big, and Prabhupada had him. He said, even though he says he does not believe God is person, he cannot resist worshiping Radha Krishna.